Hello, everybody. Let's get started. Hope you guys had a great lunch. And we're in the final quarter here now. So we're going to in the final stretch. And during this portion of our presentation, we're going to be talking about what many of you actually probably came for, and that's the subject to process. All right. But before we get there, what I want to actually do is I want to just go back to what you see illustrated on the screen. And I want to tell you once again, one last time, about aspiring to do multiple things in your business. I think that is a great and key component, guys, to being successful in this business. As I stated on yesterday, many of you that maybe are just focused on wholesaling right now, as I stated, you're going to find that probably during this COVID-19 experience that we're going through, you may see some of your opportunities in that wholesaling realm dry up some. But as I stated previously, if you are smart enough to wholesale a property and contract the property to wholesale, then you're smart enough to find a way to keep it. Now, I've actually corresponded with some of you since yesterday, and one of the things I want to say, because people hear me say, hey, put something on your board, you got to have something on your board. Understand this, you have to have a plan for what you're actually putting on your board. You can't just go out here and say, hey, I went to the workshop and Mr. Robinson said I need to put houses on my board, so I'm gonna start trying to hold everything. Because in reality, in most cases, we're doing good if we can make $200 to $300 a month cash flow on a property. So what I want to do is paint a picture for you real quick so that you understand the significance of diversity in your portfolio. If you go out and you buy 5 properties that make you $300 a month, then that's going to be $1,500 a month that you're making off of your 5 properties. If you have one person not pay and you have a mortgage on that property, on a property, then that could be half of your income gone because you have to pay money for a mortgage that you didn't get a rent payment from your tenant on. Also, if you have a repair, you have a repair problem or something like that, and that repair cost eats into your income. That's why it's important to diversify. All right. So what I'm trying to tell you is you make a decision, and I stated this on yesterday, make a decision in your business plan what that looks like for you as far as putting something on your board. You remember, you can buy 5 or 6 properties, 10 properties or whatever, and you can talk about how much equity I have in my portfolio. But equity doesn't put any beans on the table. All right. So you have to understand that you have to find a way to eat. And that's why I believe that diversification in this real estate business is key. Diversify yourself. As I stated on yesterday, your primary focus may be flipping, wholesaling, or whatever. But because you're actually focused on the business, you're marketing, you're driving for dollars, you're doing all of the things that we do as real estate investors, you're going to get deals that fit any one or all of these buckets that you see listed there. So you're going to get something that fits into all of those brackets. I want you to get this. You're going to get something that you can fit into all of those brackets. So it's important that you say, how many assignments can do, make a plan. I want to get 3 assignments every quarter. Every 3 months, I want to try to do an assignment a month. I'm going to try to do 2 or 3 wholesales a month. I'm going to try to do a flip property once every 6 months or whatever. You're trying to put something in each and every bucket, okay? And when you put something in each and every bucket, guys, you always have something working for you. You always have something working for you, and you get to keep this guy from smiling, as I stated on yesterday, because everything, as I stated, on the right side, everything on that left side of the portfolio, or it's showing it on the right side here, everything on that right side is a tax consequence. All right. And Uncle Sam is killing you. He's a silent partner in your business. Everything on this left side, as depicted here now, is tax savings for you. So what I'm trying to encourage you to do, guys, is just remember that and set a plan for what you're actually trying to do in your business. I want to show you something real quick. I didn't mean to cut that thing out like I did, but All right, going back to the slides. So if you have something working in those buckets all the time, here's over the last couple, probably about the last 45 days for us in our business, we've had properties that sold that we had in our portfolio. This person exercised the option to purchase. And this is on a subject to deal that what we're going to talk about this afternoon. So in this transaction, I purchased this property for $110,000. I actually paid the seller $20,000 in this case. Took over their mortgage at $90,000. Came and had a tenant pay me $7,500. Was renting the property at $1,375. My monthly payment was $861. As you can see, I'm making $514 a month positive cash flow. I had that property for 26 months. The tenant actually decided they wanted to walk away. So I made $13,364 in 26 months while I was holding the property. The tenant decided to walk away, and we listed the property for sale and sold it for $168. Okay, and this is a check we just got just a few weeks, about a month ago. So now we're talking about $74,000 check, and this is our money after payoff. $74,000 on the check, plus, you got to take, plus the money we made in the rental process. Take away the $20,000 we gave the seller, we still made $75,000 on that transaction, and that actually hatched out of my portfolio from doing the multiple streams of income strategy to the business. All right, so that's what that looked like. You had to add the $13,364 plus the option fee that my previous buyer forfeited. So that was money to me. Here goes another one. And this one, we're going to actually talk about this property a little bit today, because that one just sold actually on last week, Friday. Okay. And this was an option that the tenant decided they didn't want to exercise. They moved out of the property. We listed the property for sale, $47,189. Like I said, this one was just a few weeks ago. Here goes one, March 12th, $101,000, okay, for a property that's actually further in the slides as well, and that's real, all this stuff. So I just showed you what's happening in our business just by virtue of what we're doing from that multiple streams of income approach to doing business just in the last few weeks. So while a lot of people are concerned about COVID-19, do you think $200,000 can carry you over while you're worried about COVID-19, while nothing else is going on? See, so it's important to diversify yourself and not be focused just on one thing. Put something on your board. Again, going back, guys, I'm going to tell you, and as we go into the presentation, this is a key component. If you can remember this, I don't care. I don't know any other person that teaches this in this manner. I really don't. But if you make a plan for this, you will be successful in this business. Everything you see here has to do with marketing to the extent that you have something going on at all times. And so what it looks like, trying to pull up another slide so you can see what it looks like for you. In that case, it looks like what you see in there. You're playing the game, all right? Because you have stuff that's going on in your business on all sides of that board. And so if you look back for my business, and of course we're marketing online and everything else, if you can see what I'm doing right now, you see the signs pictured behind me. Owner financing, we buy homes in 7 days or less, rent to own, sell your home fast and easy. See all those signs back there? So we want to make sure that, yes, we still use bandit signs in our market in a lot of different circumstances. What we're doing, as well as all the other venues that we tap into. But, you pay a little bit of money on those signs. That's free advertising all the time when you set it up right. And you always have a constant influx of people that want to sell and want to buy always coming to you at the same time. And so what I want to emphasize to you guys is that when you focus on your marketplace like that, and what I told you yesterday is that real estate is cyclical, it goes up and down, but more importantly, real estate is local. So when you learn that local market, when you learn your local market, you're looking there at an aerial view of a subdivision. Just think about if you made a plan because you picked 4 or 5 different subdivisions and you were going to market to them to the extent that those signs that I just showed you are all over that marketplace. And everybody comes to have a relationship and with and know you. Think about what you can do for your business. I said that because as we go into the actual presentation, you're going to see that when you market like what I just showed you, look at what happens. I'm just going to show you what happens when you do this. So you're marketing. We buy houses, owner finance, rent to own, just like I just showed you. And you might decide that you're going to do this within that 25 to 30 minute, 15 to 30 minute radius of your home. If you're in a rural area and you have to go a little further, that's fine. If you're going to be investing in other marketplaces, virtually or whatever, then you still need to learn that marketplace so you can do just what I'm showing you here in that marketplace. And you're marketing on both sides of the business all the time, irrespective of whether you have a property. One of the things I think that we do oftentimes as investors that I think is to our detriment is that we only tend to market when we actually have a property to sell. Market 24/7, 365. We have something going. We run a constant ad even in the newspaper. Okay, we run ads constantly on Craigslist. 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, owner finance, rent to own. Somebody calls on the line and we don't even have a property to offer. How's the conversation go? Conversation goes like this. They dial in. They're calling about the rent to own sign that they saw on Main Street. Oh my goodness, you just missed that one. That one actually just went under contract 3 days ago. Tell me a little bit about what you're looking for. What monthly payment are you trying to work with? How much do you have for a down payment on your home? You see, I'm gathering information on this individual because what we find in our business, because we market like that all the time, we have a constant influx of buyers. People are going to our website and registering with our website and saying that they have $5,000 to $10,000 to put down, $10,000 plus to put down. If you knew that you had somebody that had $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 to put down on a property, but they didn't have the necessary credit to actually go to the bank and get a conventional loan, would you go find a property for them? Heck yeah. And I'm going to show you how to do that this afternoon. So like I said, you're marketing consistently, guys. I want everybody in that marketplace to know where I'm at or what we're doing. Hair salons, barbershops, recreation centers, grocery stores, restaurants. We're going to be putting literature in their respective businesses if they allow us to do so. Okay? Because I'm going to tell them that if you let me market my business here, we're real estate investors. We buy and sell homes. We help people that may have credit challenges and may not be able to secure a home right now. We help them to be able to buy a home through our rent to own programs or our owner finance programs. We also help people that need or have a desire to sell their home. And if you refer us out or you allow us to put our literature in your establishment, anytime somebody actually calls us and we close a deal, we'll bring you a check. And so, guys, oftentimes I'm telling you, if particularly in the hair salons or whatever, you left some material in the hair salon and somebody's sitting there, guys, women go in the hair salon and stay 2, 3, 4 hours. They're in there getting their hair curled or whatever they're doing, right? And the women gossiping in the shop, and somebody says, girl, that Janet, they're about to lose their house. Well, now, if that hair salon stylist, she hears that and she tells them about you, or they find your literature in there and you go down there and give them a $500 check or $1,000 check, you now have them under your employ without actually employing them. They're going to be working for you forever. So these are things that we do in our business to keep stuff going or to keep activity all the time. The other thing, guys, I want you to understand, and we're going to talk about this when we get to talking about structuring deals, is that when you're looking for properties, about 10% of it is property and location. That makes up about 10%. 30% of that deal is going to be about financing. That's price and terms. Okay? Price and terms make up about 30% of it. And 60% of those transactions is going to be about your seller's motivation. All right? Remember, we're real estate investors. We're not out here buying properties at the top of the market. We're trying to buy properties at less than fair market value. So we're looking for a deal, in other words. Let me ask you guys a question. If someone called you and said they wanted to sell their house and you asked them how much they wanted for it, and they told you they wanted $150,000, okay? And you said, okay, well, great. How much do you think it's worth? And they said $150,000. Think about it for a second. What are most of you going to do? Would you buy a $150,000 house for $150,000? That would be a question that I would ask you. Most of us are going to say no. But would you buy a $150,000 house for $150,000 if the individual told you that they would allow you to put $2,000 down and that they would take payments at $300 a month for 60 months? Would you buy that $150,000 house knowing that you could take that house and rent it for $1,200 to $1,400 a month? Absolutely. So that's where what I mean when I say it's about price and terms. Okay. So we're going to talk about that as we get into the presentation. But what I want you to see, guys, is that when you're doing that multiple streams approach and you're doing all of this stuff that you see here, developing that farm area, then you're going to have transactions. So here we go. You got fix and flip. So there goes, boom, you had a big hit on your fix and flip that you're doing. Boom, you had a big hit for the lease option that just happened to close. Boom, you had another big hit on your seller financing because somebody gave you an upfront down payment. Boom, you had a wholesale deal that came in, almost $19,000, right? So this is what I'm talking about. You got all of these buckets working for you. So that's what I'm talking about, getting in this business to make money and do the things that you want to do that are going to carry you. And then when you get on the rental side, see, we were just talking about the other buckets. But when you just get on the plain rental side and we start talking about passive income. Passive income means, guys, that's income, that's non-working income. That's income that you're making if you're sitting at the beach, took a trip to Canada, took a trip to Italy. Passive income is coming into your establishment and you have checks, screenshots of checks coming in between the 1st and 15th of each month. That's what it's all about. All right. So you want to make sure you're going to the bank, making deposits. All right. Going to the bank, making deposits. So I want you to aspire to have a mindset to do something other than just wholesale properties for you guys that are just wholesaling. And I don't want you to think that you have to have an extensive portfolio to do it. You don't have to sit there and say, well, I'm going to need 100 properties. How many properties do I actually need? Well, it starts with one. It actually starts with the first one. All right. So you make a plan to get your first one. So going back real quick, I'm just going to call it the power of one property. One property right here. This property right here was in my old neighborhood that when I first got in this business, when I was telling you guys yesterday that I had that videotape that I showed you, the Carlton Sheets commercial, where I bought a house right within walking distance of this house. That was my first home for me to live in. All right. This house came up on foreclosure. I purchased the property in foreclosure. We've owned it for 15 years. You see that? We've owned that property for 15 years now. We purchased it in August of 2003 for $58,800 in foreclosure. So I want you to keep thinking, because sometimes we think so big because we feel like we're not moving fast enough. But it's like, again, it's like I said previously, it starts with one. Again, the power of one, right? So we got the property for $58,000 something, right? We've owned it now for 15 years. Well, actually, it's longer than that now. Owned it 17 years now. This slide hasn't been updated. So the principal, interest, and taxes and insurance that we pay $478 a month for that property, guys. That's what I pay. $478 on the loan that we had. The average rent has been $925 a month. We have had that property for all of this time. We've had 5 people lease option that property and decide they didn't want to buy and walk away. So we've made $22,500 in lease options alone, just in people getting an option that they didn't exercise. We've collected rent to the tune of $164,975, including the late fees. Do y'all see that? That's what I'm talking about right there. What I'm saying is, guys, this is when you're in the business, right? This money's coming to you. All right, let's keep going. So over 15 years, that house has grossed 108. Oh, this is actually more than this now. It's 2 more years on top of it. But for 15 years, that house grossed $187,475. We sold that property on seller financing by virtue of a contract for deed in March of 2018. So 2 years ago, we sold the property for $121,900. They put $12,500 down, 10% of the purchase price. We're financing $109,400 to them at 8% interest rate. That's what they're paying for the financing, 8%. Their monthly payment to me is $971.66 per month. We gave them a 7-year mortgage, a 30-year amortization schedule, right? A 30-year mortgage with a 7-year balloon. So they got to pay this mortgage off within 7 years. They got to get refinanced or whatever they do to pay it off. In that time period, they would have paid an additional $81,600 something. And at the end of that, they will still owe $101,000. Are you guys looking at that? Do you see that slide? Do you see what's going on there? They're financing $109,000, right? And in 7 years, they would have only paid about $8,000 toward principal. All right. Then this is what's going to happen, guys. The total earnings on that house at the point in time that they actually buy, which they got 5 more years to go now, that house would have earned $383,439. That's one house. That's the total earnings. Do you see all that? So you have payments, $81,000. That's talking about the mortgage payments, $81,619. Balloon payment of $101,844, and then all of the previous income that the property already made. Power of one, guys. Let's get a mentality that we can achieve one property. Everybody out there, that's doable. When you get one, you're going to get to 2, you're going to get to 3, you're going to get to 4. The next thing you know, you have a whole portfolio of properties that you never thought or had any aspiration that you could even do. So let's get out here and do the thing.